action. Dodgers and Tigers coming up this afternoon, getting ready to defend their World Series title from a year ago, which makes it a perfect time to bring on our next guest. RJ Cutler is a filmmaker who has directed Fight for Glory, the 2024 World Series. It will debut tomorrow on Apple Plus TV, chronicling the World Series from a year ago between the Dodgers and the Yankees. RJ, thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and happy opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. RJ, let's start with this. The opening episode of your latest project, Fight for Glory, the 2024 World Series, kind of takes us through Game 1 of the World Series last year, in particular Freddie Freeman and the season that he had, the health scare that his son had, his relationship with his family, his father. And then, of course, as we all know, he hits that home run to win Game 1, the walk-off grand slam. Was that just serendipity that you had all of this Freddie Freeman stuff, or were you covering everybody leading into it so you had the guy, no matter who it was going to be, in that Game 1?
Well, Freddie and Chelsea Freeman were good enough to invite us to film with them. And so we were very fortunate. We were filming with other people. As you know, if you've seen other episodes, we were with Brianna Betts and the Betts family, and with others. And then after the World Series, of course, we had amazing conversations, reflective interviews with about 20 of the Dodgers and maybe 15 of the Yankees. So everybody's we're kind of in the experience with everybody. But in terms of the Freemans, we were there, right? We were with them before the game, during the game, and after the game, and it's amazing stuff that it happened also to be, you know, one of the greatest World Series performances ever, what Freddie did.
Indeed.
No doubt. I can't wait to see how you tell this story about the World Series, because it meant so much to everybody here in L.A., and I love, frankly, a good sports documentary. I was just thinking, remember Knuckleball that came out? Mm-hmm. Love that. Learned something new. The Last Dance was one of my favorites. It's a story revisited. How will Fight for Glory be different than other sports docs coming forward?
Well, one of there are many reasons, and of course, Knuckleball was terrific, and the Michael Jordan series was great, and there's been a lot of great sports documentary projects made. This is different in that we're in the moment with both teams in the World Series. There are no sit-down interviews. You're in everybody's head. It's filmed cinematically, so it's a whole different look than you're used to seeing with baseball. It's an emotional, character-driven, dramatic series that really feels like three movies back-to-back that tell the story of the World Series. And I think you're going to really love it. I mean, if you love those projects, you're going to love this. If you're a fan of baseball, you're going to love this. And I'm told by many, many people who have seen it and aren't fans of baseball that they respond to it just on a human, emotional level.
So with that in mind, the human emotional level, and we're speaking with RJ Cutler. He directs Fight for Glory, the 2024 World Series, about last year between the Dodgers and the Yankees. And, you know, we talked a little bit about Freddie, and you were fortunate enough to have access to him and his family, both pre and post home run and everything that came along with that. What about the Yankee side of it? What about when you're dealing with the players who are on the wrong end of a moment like that? Not just that night, but in the series as a whole.
Well, listen, one of the themes of our series is how do baseball players deal with what is the essence of baseball, which is failure. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's a sport where most of the time you're not succeeding. And how you overcome failure is how your character is forged and how your success as a baseball player is forged. And so that's one of the driving themes of this whole series, and we get into it. You know, we wanted to see what it was like from both teams' points of view, and the truth is that though they lost the series 4-1, the Yankees were within one swing of the bat of winning every one of those games. Yeah. I mean, we know they almost won Game 1, and every other game they were in it, and the big blowout was the game that they won. So you see the Yankees close to, I mean, they were within one dropped ball, if you ask me, of going back to L.A. for Game 6. And plenty of teams have been down 3-2 and won the World Series. So there's a lot of hope on the Yankee side. But most of all, you see Aaron Judge, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Certainly he had the most statistically successful season of any right-handed batter ever last year, who comes to his first World Series as captain of the New York Yankees against the Dodgers and is batting .077 through the first 3 games. But he finds a way to overcome it. And by the middle of Game 5, he's actually leading the Yankees in what seems like it might be a historic comeback. Now, they don't succeed. He does make that error, but there's a lot to be seen and to be enjoyed if you're a Yankee fan.
You know what I hope to find out in the doc is I hope the Yankees hated losing to the Dodgers as much as the Dodgers liked beating the Yankees in the World Series, if that makes sense.
Well, sure. I mean, listen, you're 12 World Series in with those guys.
Yeah.
They really they have had the most storied rivalry in baseball history, and where once they were fighting for the soul of a city, you can argue that they were fighting for the soul of a country, the West Coast, East Coast.
RJ Cutler is the director of Fight for Glory. It debuts tomorrow, March 28th, on Apple Plus TV about last year's series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. RJ, was this a project that you had in mind, going into the baseball season, chronicling the World Series, or when the Dodgers-Yankees presented themselves, was it, okay, like you just mentioned, this is a historic rivalry. You get the 2 biggest cities in the country, 2 historic franchises, and just an opportunity to present it itself?
No, we knew going into the season that we were going to be filming the World Series, and we hope to be filming the World Series every year going forward. Our partners at Apple TV Plus are really behind it. Major League Baseball has been a great partners, and they're thrilled. And what happened was back in 1943, the U.S. government asked Major League Baseball to make a World Series film so that soldiers stationed overseas could experience the World Series. There was no other way, of course, for them to watch it back then. And that started a tradition that went on for 80 years until last year when Major League Baseball and Imagine Documentaries came to me and said, hey, is there a film to be made? Can we step up this World Series film? I mean, you guys know those films. I have mine from my VHS from 1986 when the Mets won because I'm a Mets fan. We all have, when our teams win, we all got it was basically a highlight reel. And they asked if there was room to improve it. And that was something that I leapt at because, of course, you could make it more cinematic, more dramatic, more character-driven, more emotional, all of those things. And that's what we set out to do. And I think we've done a really good job.
What if you get like a Colorado Angels World Series? That'd be fun.
It will be because it'll be great players playing at the height of their game. And, you probably are going to get even more access, even deeper in with the smaller market teams, which is a great thing. There's always room to tell great stories in baseball, right?
No doubt.
And that's what we're so excited about doing.
RJ Cutler has a new film, Fight for Glory, 2024 World Series. It premieres on Apple Plus TV tomorrow, March 28th. You've covered a lot of very famous people in your time as a filmmaker, musicians, actors. Where does just from a sheer celebrity and understanding who they are and how people respond to their presence, where does Shohei Ohtani fit in that?
Oh man, I mean he's at the top of it. He's a global phenomenon, and he's an historical figure. I mean, I don't think people appreciate the fact that this man was a legitimate Cy Young candidate until he hurt his arm, and then he was a offensive MVP. And then, to have a 50-50 season that was pretty close to a 50-60 season. I mean, this guy's incredible. But the way the fans respond to him And you stand next to Aaron Judge, and you're wondering who put that building next to you. You stand next to Ohtani, and he's actually not that overwhelming physically, but his skill is you watch him bat, and you realize you're seeing something unlike anything you've ever seen if you've been watching baseball your whole life, as I have. And so that's Ohtani. But it's not just Ohtani. All of these players have such a deep connection to their fan base, and that's one of the things that I learned about this series. I always kind of took for granted the home field advantage and the meaning of what it meant to play a game at home, but especially in these high-stakes games, these playoff games in the World Series. Especially then, it's a completely different thing in terms of their relationship to the audience.
To the
fans, and it means so much to them how the fans are responding.
I thought that was my phone. I did. I really did. I'm like, is that in my bag? I thought
you were going to ask. Madame phone.
I thought you were going to ask, like, what do you make of baseball players? Period. As just athletes and people and how they go about their business, because it's such a cerebral game.
Grind.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
So, and they're very guarded about who they are as people. They don't really let you in a lot. I was going to ask you, RJ, what do you make of baseball players?
Yeah, and it's they're baseball players. They're just like real people. I listen. They are dealing in a sport that requires you to be able to embrace failure as part of your daily life. But that's human. That's, I think, in a way, in many ways, it's the most human of the sports because, we know this. 30% of the time, if you're successful these days, you're a Hall of Famer.
Wow.
If you're right? And that is something that means that the other 70% of the time, you got to deal with it. You got to get through it. And that is how character is forged. So I really think you're dealing with a special breed of person. There are a lot of people who come up. The other thing is the way they come up. They're not coddled in college the way that basketball players and football players are. They're not, and they're certainly not going to be paid the way college basketball and football players are going forward. It's a whole different thing. They've had to ride that bus in the minor leagues, most of them. And so there's a certain humility that baseball players have. And they know, they see, even Aaron Judge, even the MVP, even this giant of a man is going to hit a slump. And if he hits it at the wrong time, how he confronts it is what makes him who he is. And I think people watching the series are going to get a whole new sense of Aaron Judge and a whole new sense of respect for him because of the way he handled himself over the course of the series. We start one of the episodes, Roberto Clemente, we quote at the beginning of one of the episodes saying, I don't know why everybody's always talking about what happened last week and the last game and all the other games before it. The only thing that matters is tomorrow. Well, that was how Roberto Clemente approached his life and why he's one of the greatest players who ever played.
RJ Cutler directs Fight for Glory 2024 World Series. It premieres tomorrow on Apple Plus TV. And as he mentioned, even if you're not a baseball fan, but especially if you are a baseball fan, and especially as many people I know listening to this show are right now, are Dodger fans, it is can't miss. And it is on Apple Plus TV, premiering tomorrow, March 28th. RJ, congratulations on your project, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good luck this season. We Mets fans look forward to seeing you again in the NLCS.
Wait, one more question. Who called you? Who was that phone call?
What's that?
Who was that phone call?
Oh, of course it was spam. And of course it was some,
Of course. All right.
junk phone call.
You got it, RJ.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a bunch.
All right.